Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Scott. There's Dave right next to me. And would you believe it? This is our 100th episode. Yay! Hard to fucking believe. I have sat through 100 movies with you, all good and bad. And wow.
Some you're to 100. Blame and some I'm to blame. I think the worst ones I think I'm to blame. I mean, I did do Star Wars Holiday Special.
Well, since you bring that up, you're gonna thank me because I saved you from one. It's like, you know what? It's 99 cents on a rental. I'm gonna check out the new Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. As a huge fan of the Resident Evil games, I was hoping for something better. Raccoon City. It is the actual location in the game. Just ignore the Japanese like to make some crazy shit. The games are solid. Right. And actually the first two movies that I think it's Paul W.S. Anderson and his wife Mia Jovovich did were actually pretty close to the games. And even when they diverged, they're fun movies. They're over-the-top CGI. They're fun. They're absolutely fucking ridiculous. And they're fun. All I'm going to say is save your time, money. Don't even bother. And it's really sad because there's named actors in here. Yeah, they took a paycheck. But I'm not saying they acted bad. Here's what the makers of this film did. And I haven't read anything about them. I don't know who actually did it. I don't care to after seeing this. They busted their ass to make something look real, like true to the lore, all the way down to the police station, the stuff on the walls, everything is just like you were playing the fucking game. Everything is set the same way. There's scenes that are scene by scene right out of the game. But that's all they did. They had shitty CGI, shitty story, shitty dialogue, horrible music. It was just like, the CGI is so bad.
So they spent all their time and effort making it look good.
Oh, it looks great.
But no time in making a good story.
Yeah, I see it as fan service. It's a fan film. It's like, how do we get this scene in the movie that was in the game? There's scenes in the game that scare you. Yeah. You know, it's like when you run across some of the games, oh shit. So they tried to recreate those scenes and they did it perfectly. But by then it's just like, what in the hell are you doing? Perfect example. When they rebooted Resident Evil 2, the game, it opens up with a truck driver eating this big greasy cheeseburger, and he runs into this woman who he runs her over and she actually gets up and attacks.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, pretty intense fucking scene. So how's this movie start off? Here's this motherfucker in a truck eating a cheeseburger. And you know exactly. The only way
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
It sounds like what they did is they did the movie inside the video game. They just reshot it. Is that
pretty much? But not just taking one game, taking multiple ones, characters from different timelines, and putting it all together. And it's like, here's another fan call out. Here's another fan thing. Here's the Doberman. Here's this. Here's that.
I got you. Okay.
To compare, I love the Silent Hill movies. They do not follow the games per se.
Right.
But the minute you watch them, you can tell the director was a fan. It has the vibe. It has the energy. And so I can deal with the story diverging because it feels like it's part of the universe.
Right.
This was a fan film. And I don't want to slag on fan films because they have a place, but not at the box office. I'm sorry.
No, I get it.
Old ass movie reviews say stay the fuck away from Raccoon City.
Raccoon City. Just the title.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You would have turned it off too.
You know that I don't play video games.
Right, I know.
So anything that you tell me about that is like I haven't played video games since fucking Asteroids or
I haven't played since last night. So anyway.
But I mean, I have a PS2 still.
Hey, great fucking system.
The games that I like, there's two games that I found that I just loved, and that was Godzilla Monsters fight game that's got all the big monsters in it.
Oh shit! I'm gonna have to get that.
And it's got the Star Wars one,
Yeah.
the big Star Wars ones where you can be a stormtrooper or a rebel. And those are the two that if I ever freak out, I'm like, I need to go kill something, I get that in. Or there's another World War II game where you get to be a sniper. At some point,
there's a ton of them, so no telling.
And you're sniping, Nazis.
Yeah.
And shit,
so that's always good fun.
Yeah.
Even in real life, that's probably good fun.
Yeah, well, that's not a problem. We're not saying go do it.
If it's a Nazi.
Yeah. But they're not.
Anyway.
So it doesn't matter.
It's a Nazi. Yeah.
But what are we here to do today?
Today, we are finally, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, I am Star Wars'd out.
I told Kat that last night. I was like,
I am
thank
done.
God this is the last movie.
I am done. Now, we say that. Thank God it's the last movie. I actually came into this prepared to be upset and just...
Yeah.
We are doing episode 9, Rise of the Skywalker. I don't understand this title. And...
I have a fix for it, though. But
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Did I text that to you last night?
Yes, you did.
All right. Then there you go. That's my fix.
Yeah.
But we'll tell you good people what it is later.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it turned out to be much better than I was expecting. I was, while I think this movie has issues, it actually is really enjoyable, and I could see that JJ tried to fix some things. But here's my question. He had the ability to fix it all. Why did he make a change? Why did he make a change that he did? And
there's 4 major points in that movie that could have very easily fixed at any time. Fixed it.
Before we go to those points, my very first note is, correct me if I'm wrong, episode 8 didn't even have to be released. We can take that whole thing out of the fucking equation.
No.
It really has nothing to do with this movie.
Had I been involved with it, I would have just ignored episode 8. Luke Skywalker would have still been alive. I would have just I would have totally ignored it. I would have gone on a fucking media blitz saying I'm ignoring that last movie. Luke's still alive, and we're going from there.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you do? I mean, really, and even if you kept him dead, that's fine. I mean, because finally, at least Rey was getting some training in this one.
Yeah, I want to expand on something I ran across today, and I thought this was already done, but there was an article that came out today that Kathleen Kennedy says Rian Johnson's trilogy is now put on hold because he's too busy, and it's like I thought they already took this shit away from him.
I thought they took that away from. Last I read, they took it away from him. Somebody got smart and said, "You're not doing another fucking Star Wars anything."
So why is this popping up now? And it's like, what?
Because she's trying to get him his fucking. She's trying to get his deal back for him.
That makes no sense. Sense.
These very last 2 movies that we are looking at, those are most definitely the ones that Kathleen Kennedy had her fucking mitts in the most. I really think that. Yeah. And I think that's why J.J. Abrams couldn't fix everything he wanted to fix, because it's all very easily done.
That was the one that was hard to me.
Easily fixed. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean that's exactly right. That's what's hard for me. There's, if you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen to our rant-filled, expletive-filled episode that we just did last week.
Yeah, sorry about that, but it needed to be said.
It needed to be said. So we came up with a lot of things that episode 7 set up, episode 8 totally ignored, and episode 9 touched on a few.
Tried to fix it.
Changed a few, and it's like, I don't know. It was confusing to me. So
they still left it open. I'm going to say this. They still have that open. They still have a spot where you could find out who she really is. There's still that little hope. Because remember,
I think it's done.
I think it's done too.
Yeah.
And the only way they're going to do that is if Filoni and Favreau have their way. But at this point, if I was Favreau, I'd be like, I'm done. My contract's up. I'm leaving. Because he's fighting every fucking day to do a good story. But I think they're doomed. I think right now she's giving them so much shit that neither one of them can do anything. And what I've been hearing, I hope what I've heard about Kenobi is wrong.
Oh, what have you heard?
I've heard it's another bait and switch. Another, basically, he's barely showing up in his own show, and it's all about the chick hunter, force hunter, whatever the hell they're called. This is what I've been hearing, but there could be a lot of falsehood in that because the people love to hate.
Yes.
I haven't been following it all that closely, so I'm gonna give this one to you. So whenever it comes out and you start watching it, if you come out and go,
I'll let you know.
Oh no, fucking Kenobi's, since Mandalorian, it's the best thing because very few people have loved Boba Fett. Very few people that I've talked to are like, Boba Fett's great. I guess the little biker gang just did it in for him.
While that was really cheesy, I'm okay with it. It's the Star Wars universe. You may have something like that. I'm good with that. But
right.
I found the Book of Boba Fett boring.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God, don't kill me, y'all. But whatever. It didn't get good till Mandalorian showed up.
Yeah, but that's what everybody said. Like it felt like whenever the Mandalorian showed up in that, it was like this is just another Mandalorian episode.
Yep, and it was good at that point, and that's a shame. That's a shame. Mm-hmm. I do think a lot of people will go off on something without knowing everything just because something's said. Right. Because it's fun to hate. It's fun to go on it. I have high hopes for Kenobi just because Hayden Christensen's coming back, and I want to see him as Vader so fucking bad.
I don't see the point, but yeah. But that's me from a storytelling point of view. Right. I mean, and there's another rumor before we get into Rise of Skywalker. Another rumor is that they're thinking about doing a Vader series, and I'm like, why?
There's a lot of stuff there.
That's but I don't know.
Well, I guess
to me that's a big. I don't care. They've made me not care about Star Wars. Yeah. That's I think where I'm at now. I love The Mandalorian. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be brilliant. And then they went and did stupid stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm out. And ever since then, to me, they just feel like they're getting worse and worse and worse. You know what I mean? But that's me. I don't know. If we will eventually watch Boba, and I'll make my decision then.
I will tell you this, and you know this. Right. Disney's number one goal is to make money, so they really don't give a fuck. And
I don't think it is anymore.
Really?
I think they're an agenda-driven company now. I'm hoping that they'll become a money-driven company.
I think their agenda is to make more money, and if they could do it by pushing social issues, then they're going to do it. They're going to look and see which way is going to bring them more audience.
They seem to be losing money. I mean, their stocks are going down, their parks are going down. You would think that somebody would look around and go, you know what, maybe we shouldn't be so preachy.
When you have that much, I did read a thing that they're basically telling China, fuck you, we don't need you to make money. So
I hope they are.
I hope that's accurate.
First very good step that they could make.
Yes,
they made all their money in America. They made all their money going into Europe. They do not need China.
Nope.
The sooner the world realizes they do not need the Chinese government backing anything, we'll be okay. Then China will start going, oh, hey, maybe we should stop killing people in the streets, you think? Maybe we should stop. Maybe we should let the Uyghurs go. Maybe that'd be a good step. That'd be a good first step. Let them out of the death camps, maybe? Yeah. Just think about it. Something to think about, folks.
Exactly. I just think in the end, they're just a big...
nothing to do with Star Wars.
Well, and we're going to get there. Since we're on Disney, I had the misfortune of watching the She-Hulk trailer last night.
Oh, I heard it was terrible. Is it? Yeah.
They
could have done a good job with She-Hulk too. That's what killed me.
And they still might. But man, I got such a bad, cheesy, weak ass vibe off of this. Is like, I don't even want to watch it. This looks fucking stupid.
What I remember reading of the comics, she was kind of cheesy.
Okay.
But she was funny cheesy. She was one of the few Marvel characters at the time. She might have been the first one that realized she was a comic book character. Like she would talk, she would break the fourth wall and talk to the reader.
And maybe if they approach that actually might work. But the trailer looked bad. The CGI is fucking horrible.
Oh no.
She looks bad. It's just like, what in the hell? So
that's horrible. That's bad. That's too bad because that's a good character. It really is a good character. I always liked the She-Hulk.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I was never
we'll
a
see how that
huge
goes.
fan, but she was always kind of cool to have around because she was always super strong, really built. You'd always see the guys looking at her like, "Hey," but she's like 8 feet tall or however the hell tall she is, and she just, she could rip a car in half. So it's like no guy ever wanted to hit on her, but it was always funny to see them write her helping a guy that's supposed to be really strong, but all of a sudden you got this girl, this woman.
Well, in the trailer they show her carrying her date into the house.
Oh, see, now that's funny to me. That
was funny, but and that whole setup is funny. It's just, dude, if you go on YouTube, look up the trailer, it's just there's too much cheese. It's just it didn't work for me. It's like, oh, this is lame. You're hurting my fucking head.
They're pushing the cheesy instead of
and maybe we've watched trailers that have been kick ass and had a shitty movie, and I've seen shitty trailers with great fucking movies.
Yeah, this is true. Real quick to bring us back.
Star Wars? Yeah. Rise of the Palpatine.
Rise of the Palpatine. Exactly. Rise of Palpatine. Before we get too much further, folks, please hit the like button.
Yes.
Hit the share button. Tell your friends about us. We're everywhere. If you're watching us on YouTube, we are on Spotify. We're on Apple apps, and
wherever you listen to podcasts, we're there.
Yes.
If we're not, drop me a line. I'll try and get it on there. But there's like 20 something places that distribute our podcast, our audio.
Scott's got them all covered.
And we're on Instagram. Guy. If our show is less than an hour long, it ends up on Instagram TV, and then it's always going to be on YouTube. And we are getting visited by the doctor right now.
Not now. Go away. Bring your blue box later.
Yeah, like you would say that if you
I'd be
I'm
gone.
Sorry.
Dude,
Could you be right back?
Box.
we'd be able to finish this podcast, and then you could tell me all about it.
Exactly.
It's fucking awesome.
I'd be like, oh no.
Wait a minute, David.
Okay,
which doctor was it?
Oh yeah, that'd have to be number 4 for me.
Yeah, because if it's Tenet, I'm not getting on that box.
Hell no. Tenet be like, come with me. No,
I don't want to die.
You're gonna get me killed. I'm not the person hanging around with you, Tenet.
So I am excited for the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who after seeing Tenet and the Dr. Donna there. So very cool.
I have reservations. I am hopeful just because Russell T Davies is back. I am hopeful that the Shooty guy is a good doctor.
I hope so.
Evidently, they have a new Rose who seems very politically correct pick. Let me put it that way. I'm hoping the actor or actress, I don't know what the hell it is good at their job. Mm-hmm. Whatever.
As long as they have the chemistry and you believe it, it's the I mean, when
we look at the stories, whatever they are, whatever they're trying to do, whatever story is being told, it has to be a good story.
Yes.
That's what kicked me out of this last Doctor. I just could not.
Yep.
I wasn't buying her as a doctor. I'm sorry. She's a good actress. She should have walked right in, boom, and been a good doctor. And I never bought her as the doctor. I'm sorry.
No, it was the stories. I'm right there with you. It did not feel the doctor. It wasn't there and had absolutely nothing to do with her being a woman. It just didn't work.
No. I wanted to see them bring Missy back. If that woman would have stepped in and become the doctor.
Well, there's a mind fuck.
You still need good stories. Exactly, right? You still need good stories, though.
Yeah, they absolutely do. So, that being said, Doctor Who's another podcast. We will get to Rise of Palpatine right now. Do you have notes? Do you have notes, David?
Yes, I do. I'm like, I just want to do this, and then we'll get back to Star Wars, and I totally forgot about Star Wars. Well, you know what? It's because we've talked about Star Wars for so much, and that last
11 straight episodes.
That last movie, I tell you, just about took my soul.
Dude, I did not even want to turn the TV on last night. It's like, I don't even want to fucking watch this. I'm so done. And I enjoyed the hell out of it.
And that's the beauty of this movie. As big of the mistakes that are in it, it's still a good and entertaining movie.
It's still fucking entertaining.
Really
I really loved it.
There was so much good stuff in this movie C-3PO had some great scenes, I thought.
Heartfelt scenes.
I think he should have stayed shut down for a little while. Like maybe they were having trouble getting him back online, but that's me. That's a small thing. I like whenever he's translating the Sith lore and his eyes, boom, turn red. It's
red.
Like, oh, shit.
Yep.
And he doesn't sound like C-3PO.
No.
You know? Anthony Daniels, Kat and I were talking a little bit about him last night. And for a guy who's wearing a mask and there's no facial expression at all, you know what he's thinking when he tilts his head and he moves his body in a certain way. That man, if he's not giving acting classes on how to use your body during acting, he should be. Anthony Daniels, if you ever did that and it was affordable, I would take a class.
Absolutely.
Well, you'd have to come to the armpit of Florida. Other than that, I would take your class. It's a good...
I will say that there's three actors that come to mind when you mention Anthony Daniels who do that. You have Andy Serkis,
yep,
and Doug Jones, who are
Doug Jones.
He's real skinny, tall. He's done a lot of stuff with Guillermo del Toro. He did The Shape of the Water.
Okay, yeah. I know who you're talking about now. Right,
he's also Saru on Discovery.
Yes, I forgot. I never knew his name. I know who you're talking about.
He is always in such heavy prosthetics, and he's able to give so much emotion with just his body, his breathing.
Right.
Now, I know you don't watch Discovery. That's a whole nother topic. But his character in it, the way he walks, he's developed a certain walk, and it makes it. His whole body moves with it, and it's like, my God, I believe you're this race. I believe you're this.
Really?
He's so good. And the same with Andy Serkis doing all the motion capture, all the the stuff.
Genius.
And then seeing Anthony Daniels, I love seeing people like this, the puppeteers, everybody who makes this shit work. The puppeteers behind BB-8. I swear to God, I know what BB-8's looking at, what he's thinking.
Yeah.
It's
what's
fucking
going
brilliant.
through his head.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he's a little smart ass. I like BB-8.
I like BB-8 too. I'll start with my usual bullet point. Thank you very much. The Rolling Scroll. The Emperor is alive, and he announces his comeback.
Yeah,
I mean,
on a radio broadcast. Sunday. One time only, it's Palpatine and crew. Dropping sick beats, yo.
He's like, anyway, who does that? He's kept all this shit secret for 40 years, and all of a sudden he's just going to come back? And by the way, I'm the Emperor, and I'm coming back for revenge.
He just wanted to whip it out and wave it around and say, look at me.
That didn't work for him this time either. But that to me was a mistake. But that to me is indicative of the mistakes that Kathleen Kennedy has made with this franchise. A, keeping the Emperor alive. B, having him announce it like he'd fucking actually announce it. C, making him an old man. D, making Rey a fucking Palpatine instead of a Skywalker, when in the very beginning of this fucking movie, when the Emperor is talking to fucking Kylo, he says, she's not who you think she is. And he does the little evil look. And you're like, well, who the fuck do you think? You know, he thinks she's just a nobody.
Yeah. That
would have been the perfect thing to find out she's a Skywalker, and that could have made him want to turn her even more. Like, man, this is really going to fuck Luke up, you know? I know he killed him, but, it's my ultimate revenge to have her join me on the dark side. Evil shit.
Now, I know you've read a lot, and you've had I know your hatred runs strong for Kathleen Kennedy.
I read books, Donnie.
Yeah, so I'm curious though. I know we give her a lot of shit, and a lot of it is definitely well deserved. But how much of it did she really have her hands in on this? I mean, she's just a money person, right?
She's a nitpicker. She's got a lot of power. She's the one over Lucasfilm. She's the one over Star Wars. What she says goes.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
So, I guess what I'm saying is that may be, but is she the one who said this is how it goes and this is how it's going to be? Or are we just speculating?
I'm sure that she would have the say-so over script and changing scripts and thinking that she knows what she's doing. She's the one who put together the crappy Indiana Jones movie that's not going to see the light,
really?
Hopefully ever. As of right now, they put it off to 2023, and it was already being put back and put back and put back. It's all, to me, I think she's got a lot to answer for when it comes to the destruction of the Star Wars universe.
And I want to spin off of that because the article I was reading earlier that I'd already mentioned that she said, Ryan's been removed. And there was something else that somebody had linked where she was talking about Solo and how they learned their lesson by bringing new actors in. I was like, I'm sorry, Alden did a fucking bang up job as Solo. So, bitch, what are you talking about? He was fucking wonderful.
The problem wasn't the actor. The problem was your original script. The problem was your director and you not getting along. And the director is finally going, fuck you, we're out of here. And then when, what's his name comes on set, him and his brother are just basically cheered with open arms, like, thank God you're here.
Yeah.
Because I have the feeling she walked off set whenever Opie Cunningham came on.
Yeah. It's pretty shitty to blame that movie. It's pretty shitty to act as if that movie was bad and then blame the actors. That movie is fucking good, and I think Alden did a great job. So
he's got the swagger. He's got the Han Solo.
He was
swagger.
Han. I bought every fucking bit of it. But
I do too.
Back to Palpatine.
Back to Palpatine. Why is it called the First Order, and who really cares? They never explain it. Like, I understand the Empire. We're the Empire. We're the Galactic Empire. Why? Because we're an empire. I get that. But why the First Order? It doesn't make any sense.
That's a great question.
If anybody out there that,
I know why.
Knows that,
I know why.
Why?
It's so at the end, they can be called the Last Order.
You're probably right.
You can't call it the Last Order if you haven't had the First Order. Just saying.
You're probably right. I like that Kylo Ren found a Horcrux.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought of when I saw the map. I'm like,
I love Weasley. Weasley, and in this, I fucking love Weasley. I didn't. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie, so finding out he was the traitor blew my fucking mind again. It's like, oh shit.
That's funny. I like how he was handled, though. That one general just shot his
General
ass.
Pride? Yeah. Saw right through it.
And I'm going to reiterate, whenever Kylo's asking, like, who is she? And Kylo asks, he could have fixed it right there. When he says, who is she? The Emperor says she's not who you think she is. He could have just said it. She's a fucking Skywalker. I need that power. I need that Skywalker power.
Yeah.
But then that wouldn't have been totally destroying everything that George Lucas created. And I honestly think that's part of the problem. I think she's got a boner against him. Why else would you treat this universe
I don't know.
and these movies this way? I don't understand it. And I don't understand how anybody who's the people behind it could say, oh, okay, we only lost $100 million or $500 million on the last 3 movies each because of her, but she's going to keep her job. Well, you made $1 billion. Yeah, we should have made $2 billion per movie, or whatever the hell they thought.
Well, and even then, if we take the money out of it, I just wish they would roll back and look at. They know they're not going to please all the fans, but at least try and get it close. At least try.
Yeah. There is zero reason to make her a Palpatine. It doesn't work. It does not work. More notes. They did the alien speaking English thing again way too much in this for me.
Yeah, they did.
I didn't like that, but that's me. Light speed skipping.
That was a cool scene.
Cool scene, but who did it first? Who did it first without the Force? Han Solo. That's how Han Solo got through the shields. And now all of a sudden, asshat fucking Poe is just skipping around the universe. I'm just going to skip.
Yeah, Poe got some major skills.
Look at me. It's like, come on, dude. This is ridiculous. Solo did it because he had to. I get it, But he was just popping and popping and popping and popping. And usually he has to have a Jedi with him or some girl who knows.
Well, they even mentioned needed Rey.
Yeah, would have been easier if you'd have been with us. But I just felt like that was another dig at Han Solo trying to, look, this guy's a much better pilot. No, I'm not buying it.
No. No, and besides Finn was wearing Han's pants.
Was he?
And probably not, but they looked like Han Solo's pants.
Did they have the stripe down them?
Yes.
Were they yellow stripe or red stripe?
Blue with a red stripe.
No shit. He was wearing the Carillion blood stripes. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Holy crap. How did I miss that?
I don't know, but I caught that last night. It's like, why is he wearing Han Solo's pants?
That's great. Well, they're in the ship.
Maybe that's it. He's got a jacket. Finn is a badass. I
missed it. I love Finn's character. They did not utilize him correctly in this movie either. It freaking kills me. It absolutely freaking kills me.
Yeah, he's a great character.
At least they treated him a little bit better in this one, but not much. At least, like I said, Rey is finally getting some training from Leia, which is good.
Yeah.
And that was cool. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that was cool to see, that we finally get to see Rey train, and who's training her? Leia. Yeah. And later on in the movie, we go to find out why Leia left her training. And I found that very interesting. It's like, okay, I see what you're doing. You're addressing how she Mary Poppins that shit in the last one. So you're trying to fix that shit by saying, yes, she had some training. The sad thing about it is they said she left training because she saw Ben dies at the end. Yeah. Sorry, Leia, it didn't matter. You should have stuck with your fucking training because he died anyway.
Yeah, because you knew he was going to die.
Yeah. So that was an odd choice. It's like, I don't understand that completely.
Here's what kills me about that. Well, I saw him die, so shouldn't she have seen Han die?
Maybe she did.
Anyway, again, another Jedi making bad decisions.
Shocking. The Jedi are full of bad decisions, full of not supporting their people, not having empathy. I swear to God.
I honestly think the problem with the Jedi is the same problem that in the real world after World War II, when we as the Allies did not hunt down every single Nazi and kill them. That's the same problem the Jedi had. The Jedi thought, well, we won. It's over. Well, no, that's not how it is. It's over after you kill your enemy. Sorry, folks. It's not a nice thing to say, but it's...
No, but contrast that with the Sith and Order 66.
Right.
They are going to make damn sure...
Everybody's dead.
And I always use the analogy of... one of my favorite shows is The Sopranos. So I always bring up Tony Soprano. If somebody did them wrong, guess what? They will never, ever, ever do it again. They make sure their enemies were dead and gone. Yep. When I see these people fuck somebody over so bad, you're like, oh, it's okay. I'm going to take the high road. It's like, you just killed yourself. You just fucked up bad.
Because they're just going to do it again.
Yeah.
It's like in The Godfather, the second Godfather. Was it the second Godfather? It might have been the first one, where Michael Corleone's coming in, taking over the family, and everybody's coming in and talking to him. He's like, all the Corleone family business will be taken care of today. And the scene is him just wiping out every enemy that the Corleone family's got. There's just like every person, boom, 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 boom. It's like, holy crap, that's the way to do it, Michael.
And thank you for joining us for our life lessons from the Costa Nostra podcast.
But it's true. Anyway, and there's a Hobbit in this movie.
Where?
The Hobbit. He's one of the pilots. He's one of the guys in the crowd. I forgot the guy's name.
I never even caught it.
And I think he's Pippin, the guy who played. I think it's Pippin.
Oh yes.
He's got the little beard. He's trying to hide behind a little fake, like a beard.
But he's much taller. He's much taller. He's pretty tall for a Hobbit.
Not much taller.
Aren't you a little bit tall for a Hobbit?
Where am I? And of course, Maz is only in this movie for like 2 seconds. It drives
very underutilized character.
They built her up in that first one to be like maybe the one that teaches, maybe not teach, but shows Rey how to get places, how to do things, how to maybe do the middle person to set her up to be trained. I don't know. They set up Maz for a lot more than what she wound up being, and I feel really bad for that actress because that actress was playing her really good.
Oh yeah.
So that I feel bad about that. I still think Leia should have been the mom for Rey or her aunt. Yeah. Just gonna go there. Kylo and Rey should have been brother and sister, twins, which would have explained their close connection and why they could do all the weird shit that they were doing. Whereas you could understand why Luke and Leia weren't, because They were never trained together. They were never around together. Leia never really knew she had powers when Luke was finding out he had powers, so none of that was really connecting. But they could always sense each other. So, I do like the scene when they're on the planet and there's the big festivals going on and they're all depressed like, shit, how are we going to find whatever we're looking for here? And 3PO just goes on a lecture about what's going on in the fair and this, and everybody just turns around and looks at him, and he stands there and looks at them for a second, and then he turns around like, what are you guys looking at?
Again, Anthony Daniels, fucking amazing.
And you can almost see the expression on his face, like when he does that, like, what? What are you looking at? The vision here's one of my biggest problems with this. The vision shit that becomes solid when they're having their fight.
Yeah, being able to pull stuff with the Force.
Yeah, he snatches her necklace.
Yeah.
It's like, really? What is that? No, but I've never. If anybody can help me, I have a headache when I think about that.
At least when Luke gave Leia the dice, they disintegrated. They disappeared because it wasn't real. Yeah. This, we see Rey and Kylo and Ben actually pass a lightsaber. Now, it's really fucking cool scene.
It's a cool scene.
It worked, but it doesn't make sense. But it's a cool fucking scene.
Okay, well, I like that you bring that up, because there is a spot where I sit there and think that guy that played Kylo could have played Han Solo.
Oh, yeah.
Because when he brings the lightsaber out from behind his back, he does the Han Solo shrug. That little, what are you going to do?
Adam Driver is excellent.
Yeah. It was a perfect Harrison Ford shrug. Harrison Ford did it in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He did it in Star Wars. He does it in every tough guy role.
It's a Harrison Ford thing.
And that guy got it perfectly. Adam Driver nailed it. And I remember chuckling to myself last night like, oh my God, that was perfect. That's, that was the perfect shrug. When they're in the tunnel, they fall down before the big snake thing finds them. Rey hands Finn the lightsaber. She doesn't hand it to Poe. She hands it to Finn. Like, I know you won't cut your head off with this. I thought that was good.
And one of the things you just mentioned that made me think of is they touched on more of at least showing Finn was Force sensitive.
Yeah, I did like that.
At least they showed that.
They did, like, he could feel her.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever she died for a minute, he's like, oh shit. Like, everybody's like, what? He's like, she's gone. She's dead.
Yeah.
So wonder what happened whenever he was freaking out, and all of a sudden she comes back to life. He's like, what the hell happened? What's that?
Yeah.
The healing sense touch thing, I want to come back. I'm gonna walk that back in a minute. Okay. I want to get your opinion on it. When she heals the snake, I thought, oh, that's kind of cool, but
yeah,
maybe you should have showed her healing something or had somebody explaining.
Well, and I think they did that so they needed a scene so it wouldn't be such a shock. It's foreshadowing for her healing Ben. But here's the thing. Poe gets shot, and she don't give a fuck. She could have healed Poe. She could have healed everybody's injuries. She just leaves Poe there. Poe deserves it.
Poe was being a smartass. He's being a loudmouth anyway. I liked the scene with her fighting the TIE fighter. When
that's badass.
When comes across the ground.
That is badass.
Just flying that ass at her, and she turns her back, and she goes into like a running stance, and then looks over her shoulder. And she takes off and runs and jumps. I was like, shit. Well, I remember seeing that in the movie and thinking, well, that's a pretty cool scene.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Adam Driver's character would have walked away from that, but that's, why not? Princess Leia got blown up by a missile, right? She's still Mary Poppins her ass to a door.
As far as I'm concerned, Episode 8 never happened.
Yeah. Oh God, I have to look at it that way. When I was in the theater, I honestly thought, no, I didn't see this at the theater.
I didn't either. I watched this at home again.
When we watched this at home the first time, I honestly thought they killed Chewie.
I did too last night because it had been so long. It's like, no!
Oh,
I'm not
really?
gonna Google. Yeah, I was like, oh, no, please don't. No, fuck you. I'm going to turn this off.
Fucking Dave. I know Dave would have told me about that. But I almost had forgotten about it. But I know that the first time we watched it, I remember looking over at the old lady and thinking, these son of a bitches, these son of a bitches. And she's like, calm down, it's not over. Like, these son of a bitches, they killed Chewie. Where am I? Anthony Daniels, like I said, masterclass in body language and acting.
Oh my God, yes.
The little droid hacker, I forgot his name. He was awesome.
He was wonderful. Wonderful.
Great.
Baba Newt. Baba
Boosh.
Babushka.
Scalamouche.
Bakalava.
Bingo.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He was funny.
I love that little guy.
Yeah.
I love the Jedi mind trick when she's aboard the ship and she's like, it's good that we're here. And the guy's like, hey, it's good that you're here.
I know, this guy's very relaxed.
Like a
so
surfer.
different.
We're really glad you're here, man. Yeah. Like, just totally relaxed. That was the funniest fucking thing. That was good.
I got to say something about that. You know, the Jedi using the little hand and doing that. I read a thing with an interview with Ewan McGregor, and he had said he can't help himself at every automatic door at the grocery store.
Yeah, just how would you like to be at a grocery store walking behind Ewan McGregor and him doing that? I'd be like,
awesome.
Thank you, Master Obi-Wan.
Thank you, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope.
Yeah, get this door, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. And then Ewan McGregor walk over and open. That's funny. Okay, this is about the Death Star. This is where shit really gets stupid for me. When they have to go get that Horcrux or whatever the hell they're calling
the Wayfinder.
The Wayfinder in this movie. They could have put that effing thing on any planet, anywhere, it just made super dangerous. They could have had it basically on a small island with all the waves and shit around it in an old Sith temple. Would have worked perfectly. The Death Star, if we all remember from episode 7, was fucking disintegrated. It was atomized. There were no big chunks of that thing falling anywhere. Not only did big chunks of this thing fall somewhere,
almost whole,
but the throne room was almost in fully perfect functioning and intact. There were still gun turrets mounted. I'm thinking, if that shit fell through atmosphere, it would have all melted. But okay, we're here now.
I want to talk about that a moment.
Please do.
I get it. I mean, I get what you're saying. I agree. However, in my notes, this is one of the best scenes in the movie as far as action, fighting, the scenery. I find it absolutely amazing with these giant waves, and they're fighting on pieces of the Death Star. The whole setup is glorious. Whether or not it's feasible or makes sense, it didn't matter. It's like, this is really fucking cool. You know, so I thought that was great. And
that's what I mean by that could have been anywhere, and that could have been anything. That could have been an old Sith starship that crash landed on a planet.
But instead, it's the Death Star that had disintegrated.
Instead, it's the Death Star. So I've seen the Death Star. I've seen both of them explode. There's nothing left, folks. There's fucking nothing left of the Death Star. Okay, moving on. That's where the movie really starts falling apart for me.
Well, and here's the thing. This really makes no sense to me that the dagger has a little thing and she can hold it up. That would have to be determined on, that means that waypoint was placed after the fact, because you would have never been able, let's just let it go. It was cool.
Like, when exactly was the Wayfinder put there? It must have been, it would have had to have been put there after the fact, but you would have also had to have been standing in that exact spot to hold up the knife, so.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. It's like, oh, neat, but somebody didn't think, how did you get to that point?
Yeah. Why did the Falcon crash?
It had no landing gear. The landing gear was broken.
Did they say that? I missed that. Okay, they did. I must have missed that. Because I was like, why in the hell how did they crash the ship?
The landing gear was out, so they had to.
Okay. I did not catch that.
Yeah. That was cool, though, that Finn runs into other defectors, other Stormtrooper defectors who left at the same time.
I didn't mind them but that leads directly into what my next note is.
All right.
You might as well have just fucking neutered Finn at this point, okay?
Yeah, because now you gave him another love interest.
No, I don't even. I'm just pushing that one to the side because it was such a stupid thing to do. But the fact that there was an entire battalion of these stormtroopers that had to have been force sensitive because they all broke their training all at the same time.
Good point.
Took Finn's specialness away. Now, if it would have just been that girl, and she's like, well, after I broke my training, I started getting other troopers, and I was helping them break their training. That would have been cool. I would have been like, fuck, this girl, she knows what she's special. She's somebody that the First Order would want to kill. You know, I get that. Now, we all broke our training on the same day. Same thing happened to us. Isn't that amazing?
That was pretty weak.
300 of us here. You were special. You're not anymore.
I didn't look at it that way, and that's a shame because that really does take away from Finn, who's such a great character.
His specialty, where you look at him and go, okay, that's force sensitive. You know what I mean? That's him breaking it through the force. Okay, this is where it gets really stupid for me. She's a Palpatine. No. Stupid move. Destroyed what could have been a pretty good movie. Could have saved these 3 movies altogether. Stupid. And what the hell ship did Kylo use to get to the freaking Sith planet? How the fuck did he get across those goddamn waves? He couldn't jump. There's no fucking way he made that jump. And he didn't steal the ship or whatever the fuck the other 2 came over on, because the other 2 were on the goddamn Millennium Falcon making a picture goddamn jump.
See, I completely didn't even put that together. It's like, how did he get there?
I got another breath to take. Hold on. Okay, this is how I think it should have went. You should have found out Rey was a Skywalker. So's Kylo. Oh my God, they're twins. That's why they can touch. Blah blah blah. Or cousins. Even cousins would have worked. Even cousins would have worked.
Absolutely.
That's why they sense. That's why they're so close. They were training at the same time. They were blah 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 blah. Kylo should not have been killed.
I agree.
If you keep her a Palpatine, which at this point you could have said, okay, I'm buying she's a Palpatine. If Kylo lives. Kylo, you should have showed him at the end of the movie starting a Jedi Academy with younglings, and he's being very gentle, he's being very good. He's dressed in maybe like a white version of what he was wearing instead of the dark clothes, and he's being very nice to these kids, and he's teaching them how to raise apples and do, and that should have been the Rise of Skywalker.
I want to come off. That
should have been the Rise of Skywalker.
I agree. I'm right there with you. As heinous as the shit that Ben did,
right?
I still wish he would have lived. Ben is his fucking grandfather. He is Anakin through and through.
Right.
He even gets the same fucking arc, the same redemption arc that Anakin had.
Right.
And yes, it would have been much. I actually would have liked to have seen. I didn't think of this before I'd watched this. It's like Daisy and Adam have great chemistry together. Right. They would have made a good couple. I actually could have seen that. So that's
and I didn't like, because that was all the fan crap going around.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's her and Finn.
I agree with that, but I also could have seen that go that way.
I think they were locking horns too much, and I think you should have found out they were cousins. They should have, and that would have taken that away from all the fans that were like, "Oh no, they got to be together." And I think I texted you last night. A nice ending for Rey's character and Finn would have been them being on the Millennium Falcon, taking off, and show it like a couple of months later. So that way you get the feeling that months have passed with you showing Finn or Rey and Finn together, and showing Kylo, who's now Ben Kenobi, or he could have taken Kenobi's name. Who the fuck knows? Who cares? But anyway, he could have been
he's Ben Solo or Ben Skywalker.
Ben Skywalker, but because of Princess Leia being a Skywalker, he could have taken the name Skywalker. You know what I mean?
And there would have had your Rise of Skywalker.
Exactly, he would have been the Rise of Skywalker, and he would have been starting a whole new academy, Jedi Academy. And then you show Daisy Ridley and Boyega taking off in the Millennium Falcon with Chewie, and you do a little slight pullback where you see Daisy Ridley's tummy, and she's pregnant. That would have been a good, for me, that would have been a really good ending.
Yeah, it would have. It could have wrapped it all up. It could have. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to talk about the ending in a moment. And forgive me if I go off on something here.
No, you go right ahead after listening to me.
I personally am, while I really wish she would have been a Skywalker because that's what episode 7 just beat into our fucking heads. I'm okay with the Palpatine angle. What I'm not okay with was the very ending of the movie when that lady asked her name after. Okay, she goes to Tatooine. She's at Beru and Owen's house. Mm-hmm. And she buries the lightsabers. I get this. I get what's going on. She's restoring balance. Now there's no Jedi. There's no Sith. She buries the lightsabers, even though she has a brand new one. Right. But the Skywalkers are done. And she said, "What's your name?" And she sees Leia and Luke's Force Ghost, and she says Skywalker. And I'm like, "Bitch, you're a Palpatine."
Yeah.
Why would you even say Skywalker? You're not. Right. And I come from a different place. I'm somebody it took almost 50 years to find my identity and where I come from and find my fucking names. The last thing I'm going to do is say, yeah, I'm a so-and-so when I know the goddamn truth. And it made me actually get very angry about Leia, who knew all this shit. It came out that she knew. And it's like, why the fuck didn't you tell her? Here's Rey struggling with so much. And again, it goes back to the fucking Jedi and their inability to actually care and help people.
I kind of get the angle because Luke knew who she was, and Leia knew.
Should have fucking told
but I could kind of understand not telling her right away. You know what I mean? Like maybe after she got a certain amount of training, then you're like, I got to tell you who you really are. But you had to be trained to a certain point where if you were
I could see
too short on training, it could have set you off in the dark direction that you didn't want to go in. You know what I mean? Like I could see we were going to tell you. Honest to God, Leia wasn't planning on dying.
Yeah.
And how the fuck did Kylo Ren die? He came out of the fucking thing. He walks over to. He was tired. I mean, he was tired. I get that. He wanted a nap.
He died of a broken heart.
He died of bad writing.
Bad writing, as Kat says.
His great grandmother died of bad writing, so he dies of bad writing.
But I get what you're saying. But again, as somebody who's had shit kept from them and lies and obfuscation, I'm for 100% of the truth. Damn the consequences. Right. It's not somebody else's place to determine what somebody knows about themselves. Right. And I take it very personal. So my takes on it are very, very different. But and that's why I'm fine with the Palpatine. I'm not fine with her saying she's a Skywalker because we don't have a rise of Skywalker of any kind in this fucking movie.
Exactly.
It could have been Ben. It could have been Ben, but.
And that's what I mean. Like, had they kept Ben alive, have his character, because there was no reason for his character to have died at that point. There really wasn't. He wasn't sacrificing anything.
I was actually sad that asshole died. It's like
he had actually already done his circle. He's done his redemption. He's done his. Oh fuck! Have I got a lot to make up for? That's why you have him starting. Yeah, that's why you have him starting the Jedi Academy. That's why you have him saving Rey. That's why you have, okay, she could be a Palpatine. Why the fuck does the lightsaber called to her? Don't need to know. Fine, whatever.
Yeah.
And
hey, can you? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What's with her lightsaber? Is there anything to the colors? Do they mean anything, or are they just chosen by the Jedi?
They used to be red and blue, and then when they started some of the games, they started just changing. Like red was always bad, blue was always good.
I know Samuel L. Jackson had to have purple.
Yeah, but that was because he's Samuel L. Jackson, and he wanted.
Yeah, and you give Samuel L. Jackson whatever he wants.
It has to do with the stone, the gemstone that you want,
right.
And there's I don't know if those are kyber crystals too or not, but that's what points the blade. That's what gives the angle to the blade. That's what gives the color to the blade. I know that much. Now, whether every color means something or a rank, it used to initially. They were trying to start that, and then all the different colors started coming out. And it was like, I guess it's just like a belt, whatever.
Her lightsaber was very Sith looking.
The saber handle itself, but the blade was not.
Right, but the way that was like, oh, this is interesting.
It's kick-ass, though, that little switch.
It was very kick-ass. Cool. It was very kick-ass.
Here's how I think they could have fixed everything here. All the fuck-ups, everything. one of two things should have been, instead of the Emperor, instead of it being the Emperor, it should have been a clone. Either a clone of Luke Skywalker, which then you could have had Mark Hamill playing a darker version of Luke in his black outfit and all that shit, being just badass, being the Emperor because he was a clone. He was trained by maybe the clone Emperor. And you can even get that backstory at some point where like the clone Emperor brought him back and was like going to train him and look at me, I'm going to be I'm going to do you what I did to your dad. And, Luke's clone killed him. It was like, no, I don't think so. Whatever, kill him. He took over the Empire at that point and just stayed hidden. Not an entire fleet of planet destroyers. Should have been, again, 3 or 4 ships at most. Still a huge fucking problem for these guys because now you got 3 or 4 ships that can jump light speed to wherever the hell they want. Plus they have an entire fleet with each ship. Holy crap, it's going to be real tough to get to them. But Luke Skywalker would have had a nice fight with Kylo Ren. Kylo could have had a bigger turnaround at that point. He maybe not been turned yet. So whenever he's fighting Luke Skywalker, he's looking at the guy who tried to kill him while he was sleeping.
Right.
And then suddenly something happens. Luke's going to kill Daisy Ridley, or character, and all of a sudden he's got to save Daisy. So he has his big turn there. Boom. Okay. She is the clone's daughter. So now all of a sudden you still have a Rise of Skywalker. Okay, if anybody went, oh no, that's stupid. That's just stupid. You're evil. That's when you have the next guy come in. Instead, you have Darth Vader himself. You have Anakin Skywalker. You have the actor Hayden Christensen there. He's old enough now. He look a little bit older. He could have been a clone of Darth Vader. Because you figure the Emperor took all sorts of blood samples from him. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden you got, oh shit, this is Luke's sister in a weird way because it's a clone of Darth Vader, and this is the daughter of Darth Vader.
I think it's very confusing, but I understand where you're going.
And well, you still have a Rise of Skywalker because she, in a sense, is still a Skywalker. Mm-hmm. And you can still have the fight between Kylo Ren and Darth Vader at that point. Same type of thing. He's like, I'm better than my grandfather. And at this point, he's just trying to kill his grandfather to take over the galaxy until he sees his grandfather trying to kill his sister, cousin, whatever the fuck. And you have this weird thing where he's like, shit, everything I've been thinking about is wrong. This never ends. Being evil just never fucking ends, kind of thing. And maybe that realization would help him. But you'd still have Kylo having his moment against Luke or Darth Vader. You'd still have that confrontation. You'd still have him saving Daisy Ridley's character and her helping fight whichever clone it is. And it would explain why the Emperor stayed hidden so long. You could have said, this is the Emperor. He's freaking here. He's here. And all of a sudden, when the Emperor comes out, it's not this Emperor that was in the other movies. This is, Darth fucking Vader. This is Luke Skywalker.
That would have been a hell of a surprise.
The savior of the galaxy is now all of a sudden the Emperor? That's a twist.
I like where you're going, but they obviously didn't. Here's the thing you brought up that I found very interesting. It's all well and good to up the stakes. Of course you have to, but to the level of a whole fleet of planet killers is a little fucking ridiculous. The Jedi themselves, the Emperor, all had massive, massive amounts of power that we have never seen. And it's like, okay, this is a hell of a jump here,
Yeah.
It just seemed too much.
Yeah, like he's taking out an entire fleet, and I'm like, okay, now I see you taking a ship and slamming it into another one. I can see you taking a couple of ships and doing that, and the chain reaction, I could see that.
Yeah, but not.
Yeah, you're just one. Come on, and the super duper fleet and the lightning's hitting everything except the fucking super duper fleet. Sorry, I'm not buying it.
Yeah,
that was too much. Like you said, it's overkill.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. The stakes went too high and too big. It didn't work.
I think
they were trying to get across a sense of hopelessness. But to me, I'm thinking, if I'm living around there and that's what the Empire has, guess what? I'm going down the recruiting station. I'm joining the Empire.
Exactly. Where do I sign up?
Where do I sign up? Because I want to live.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, these motherfuckers are going to kill everything. So it's like,
I like those white uniforms you guys got. I can
that's pretty stupid. All right, yeah. So,
but you guys got who doing your uniforms again?
Yeah, it's Hugo Boss.
I like the pieces.
That's very nice.
But I think it would have worked better with a clone, even if they kept the Emperor. Even if, let's say, they kept the Emperor, he should have been a younger version of the Emperor.
Yeah, it's cool that Ian McDiarmid gets to come back and do that. I'm sure he had a lot of fun with it, but still.
But he still could have been aged fairly well to that point because, fuck, darken up his hair, big deal. Who cares?
I know. He already had a scrotum for a head, so it's just...
so it's... Exactly. But really, you didn't have to... I think a clone of Luke probably would have worked the best.
Yeah.
Because of the hand. Like, what happened to the hand? We don't know what happened to the hand. The Emperor got the hand. The Emperor cloned fucking Luke.
That's exactly how you can do it. Oh, my God. I know where the hand is. It's on Jack Harkness's desk in Torchwood. Right next to the doctor's.
Now you know which hand it was.
Yeah.
Don't even want to know what Jack Harkness is doing with that hand.
Never want to know what Jack Harkness is doing with anything.
Strange guy. What a great character.
Oh, yeah.
But that's just my thinking. I think it would have worked better. It would have played better. It would have, and I think the fans would have got it. The fans would have been like, how the hell? And then anybody with a half a brain would have went, the Emperor got his hand and started cloning him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they may have had to hint at it, but it would have worked. Yeah. It absolutely would have worked.
And I think it would have worked better. Either a clone of Luke or a clone of Darth Vader. If you want to be a real asshole, both. Father-son taking over the galaxy.
That would have actually been kind of cool.
I mean that even that pushes that envelope we were just talking about, like, too much to lose. But you still six planet destroyers in a fleet, even a third the size that they were showing, would have been just as dangerous.
Yeah.
Just as freaking dangerous.
Yeah.
But that's me. All in all, the story really wasn't as bad as I remembered it.
No.
8 is the absolute most terrible movie in this entire series.
Yeah,
in this entire series of motion pictures, 8 is the worst.
Out of the 11 that we watched, it is the worst.
Yeah. I got nothing else to say about that.
Okay. The only other note
my fixes were that.
Yeah. The only other note I have, because we've covered all the others, was I know a lot of people are upset with Rose, and we talked about Rose Tico and how it was kind of pointless. Kid. But then they fucking kicked her completely to the curb. Why? You already started there. You could have just kept with it. She could have at least been a little more integral than she was. And it's like, oh my God, that actor lost out on a lot of good shit. Why?
What was the point of even bringing her back if you were going to use her so little? That character was so cool. Put her on the Falcon.
Yeah.
Put her on the Falcon.
She's tough.
You know what? Let her fly the damn thing.
Sure.
Let her be the one who's fixing it. When you have Poe fuck it up and she keeps starting to yell, she's finally getting her balls to where go, Poe, stop destroying the fucking Falcon, man. We ain't got the parts.
Poor Chewie. He's seen some shit now.
Oh, Chewie's just like, Jesus, I thought I got rid of the last one finally. I'm too old for this.
Yeah.
But that, Rose... I didn't like what they were doing with her character in the 7th or the
8th.
What the fuck number was it? The 8th episode, because it was just she was a throwaway character.
She was.
Well, you tried to make her integral, so at that point you can't just throw her away.
So they throw her away in 9.
They threw her away, and it's like, well, wait a minute, you don't do that to that actress. You don't do that to the character. You could have. They didn't have to be love interests at this point. They could have just been good friends. Like he could have come off, give her a high five, slapped the backhand slap.
I got that vibe. I got that vibe that they were not a couple. They were friends, and it's like that's how it should have been.
Right.
Because I am with you. I will forever go down the path that Rey and Finn were set up to be a couple from the beginning.
And I think they got pushback for whatever reason, don't know, don't care. Keep anybody who didn't like that for whatever reason, keep that to yourself because I don't get it. Those two had the best chemistry.
They did.
As of anybody in any of these movies. In the 11 movies we've watched, those two actors had the best chemistry together. Ray and Finn, Boyega and Daisy Ridley had the best chemistry.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. And if you don't like it.
I do want to see, and I mentioned this before, I do want to see if I can find a screenplay for Duel of the Fates and see where
if you can find it, let me know, because I'd love to read it.
I do want to read it. I want to see what the original plan was for this.
That was Lucas's original idea, right?
No, it was Colin. His name's on the credits. I can't think of his last name, but he wrote it, and they kicked it to the curb and brought J.J. Abrams back in. He was supposed to direct as well.
I wonder if he fixed everything.
He might have. And here's the problem. Hey, I'm going to do a trilogy. Let me get 3 different writers. And we're not going to plan out the arc. What?
Yeah.
What?
We're going to do 3 movies, and we're not going to let any of the directors or writers talk to each other.
Yeah.
Well, I know they did. Go ahead. What?
I know they did, but it was very minimal from what J.J. Abrams was saying, that Ryan had asked him to put certain things in so it would tie to his script that he had already written.
So, what did we say last time? See, this was news to me just now. What did we say last week when we were talking about the travesty that is...
That it was written and he just wanted it to fit. Yeah.
He just wanted it to fit, and it didn't fit. It did not fit the Star Wars universe. It wasn't a Star Wars movie, but that's he's there.
This was entertaining. This had fun. It had the music cues. It had everything. I felt like I was watching Star Wars. Right. I dig this movie, regardless of the issues we have with the way it came about and everything. Out of this last trilogy, I think this is the best one. So.
I would have to say, you know what? I don't know if it's the best one, and it's because of my problems with her being a Palpatine.
Okay.
And that's where I don't, in the ending.
I felt
Daisy
7 was more
pregnant. Her and Boyega should have been together, going off into the sunset, starting a family of younglings,
little Palpatine
Jedi shit. It would have been awesome. But
little baby emperors.
And then in the next movie, if they decided to do another movie, you would have been able to go 100 years, 200 years into the future. And you didn't even have to call anybody Skywalker, but you could have found out later on that they were related. I don't know, something.
They either need to go, in my opinion, into the future or go back to the old Republic. Right. We need to get off this Skywalker timeline and far the fuck away from it. The next thing I see, I don't want to see any characters we know, and I would like to see something new.
Here's my thinking about this trilogy. Had they set this trilogy 100 years in the future, and none of them would have been called Skywalker, none of them would have been called Palpatine, I would not have had a problem at all with any 3 of these movies.
That's true, because you would have taken a lot of shit out of 8.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you wouldn't have had the Emperor to deal with. You wouldn't have had all this other crap to deal with. She could have been a nobody that was learning how to be a Jedi and shit, and it would have not have mattered.
I'm going to go out on a crazy limb here. I think the way that Marvel is actually doing the handoff for a whole new set of Avengers is with very short series. You see a little bit, boom, here's the next one, here's the next one. The others are gone, and we're moving forward. Here, we had to hold on to the Skywalkers so much that I think it's actually to the detriment of moving the thing forward.
Like I said, when I first heard about these movies, I thought that they were going to set them way in the future.
I did too. And
when I found out everybody was going to be in them, I was like, that's stupid. The only one that they needed was Luke Skywalker. If you needed anybody, it was Luke. And he could have been the elder statesman. He could have had the Jedi Academy. He could have been going out physically looking for people to train or something. Yeah. You know what? And he didn't have to be in all 3 of them. He could have been a Ben Kenobi and had the same type of death as Ben Kenobi. But Ben 200 years old at this point, or however old he would have been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Jedi power.
I do. And that's one of the things that I like in the original trilogy is we see very early on a handoff to a untrained, loose cannon teenager who's going to be the savior. And I think it's great. It's just like he just saw I mean, poor Luke is a fucking mess in these movies. So
and they missed all of that in these 3 movies.
They did.
There was no handoff. Yeah, it would have worked had none of the Skywalkers been in it and nobody's name dropping Palpatine or Skywalker. These movies would have worked just fine. I wouldn't have even had a problem with the middle one, honestly, because there would have been nothing to be comparing it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that
still wouldn't have made any sense for the last movie or the first movie, but it wouldn't have bothered me.
Well, and I was reading. God, I read so much on Star Wars and shit now, but I don't know if it was a comment or something that somebody had said, but it struck a chord with me, was that the Star Wars universe is so massive. There's more than just this family to talk about. Yeah. So, and that's why I like seeing this stuff with more of Boba Fett, more of the Mandalorian, and yes, while it's still bringing that in, they're not as in your face with it, not as to the forefront, but there's still more. We can just go ahead and go 1,000 years back, 1,000 years forward. There's lots to mine there. Right.
And it would have worked fine either way.
I want a story on Donnie Yen's character in Rogue One, the blind Jedi.
Yeah.
He needs his series. I'm just saying. He and his partner with the fucking guns, I think would be a great series. I want to see how they got
together. I want to see what happened and how they became friends, because they weren't friends initially.
No, I'm pretty sure we talked about this.
I'm almost sure that those two were not friends initially.
Yeah.
But that Donnie Yen is fucking awesome in that, and it was his idea to make him blind.
Oh no shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, because it was a Kashuro. I want to say it's Kashuro the Blind Swordsman. It's a series of.
I know. I'm familiar. I can't think of the name. But
that's what he was basing the character on. He's like, and it would be kind of cool. And I'm like, yeah, that works. I love the hood being put over his head. And this is in Rogue One, folks. This is not this movie. He's like, I'm blind. You're kidding me. I'm blind.
Rogue One's great. Solo's great. Final thoughts on Episode 9.
Yeah, I got to stick with my guns. It wasn't a bad movie. It was a lot better than I had remembered it, because it's been a while since I watched it. But I think with the making her a Palpatine and not a Skywalker, it ruined it. There was a way to save it if you wanted to keep her a Palpatine, and that was to keep Kylo Ren alive and make him go back to being Ben and starting the Jedi Academy, and that would have been your Rise of Skywalker. Hell, she could have been there helping him, along with Finn and everybody. And then that's when you show her pregnant. Finn come up and put his arm around her, and they have all the kids training how to be Jedi.
You end up having a nice happy ending, like the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
And actually,
it would have been well-rounded. Yeah. It would have shown the Jedi are on the rise again. Yes.
But now we're like.
Yeah, now you have no idea. Did she give up everything? Well, she's still got a lightsaber.
She has a lightsaber. So now what does that mean? The Force is unbalanced.
Yeah. So what's
the dark side will find a way through now.
And I heard that they wanted at one point to make another series with just Daisy Ridley. And while I love her character and I think she's great, you can't do a movie with her or a trilogy with her without Boyega in it. And I don't know that he'll do it.
Yeah.
After the way he was treated by Disney, I wouldn't blame him for telling him to go.
No, money has a way of convincing people, is all I'm going to say, and I don't judge for that.
Sometimes you can be I would be my only worst enemy at that point, because I'm a spiteful enough son of a bitch that they were having to be like, fuck you, we're going to give you this, fuck you.
Oh, wait, you added a 0? Okay.
Wait, did you just add another 0? Is there another decimal point there?
All right.
That's he might if they did it, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't want to see any more Skywalkers. I'm fucking done.
Well, here's the thing. She's a Palpatine now, so it's okay.
I don't want to see any. I don't want to see him, any of it.
I don't think it would work. I don't think it would make any money. You'd have to do it like they're doing the rest of the series now. I don't know that a Star Wars anything would make a good movie to go see.
At this point, I think they need to roll back, just sit back and wait. I think they're finding that their TV shows are at least generating a lot of goodwill, as with The Mandalorian being so good.
Mm-hmm. So far, that's what I've heard is the only really, really good one.
Yeah, we'll see how the I can't think Rosario Dawson, her character. I can't think of the name. It starts with an A. Yeah, I'm anxious to see that one. That looks like it might be good. I know Hayden Christensen's back for that.
Got that one back.
So,
that would be interesting to see those two fight again.
Because I guess from the lore is he trains her.
Yeah, she was his Padawan.
Yeah, okay.
And they wind up fighting at one point in the series, and she takes off part of his mask.
Oh, shit.
She hits him with the lightsaber and rips off half his mask, and he turns to look at her, and she's like, Master Skywalker? And that's like, oh, fuck.
Damn.
So the animated series is really good. I just can't get past the animation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's horrible because it's really hard. The stories are good. The stories are really well written. But
sometimes
that
it's just off-putting.
Is too chunky for me or something. I don't know what it is. And I know it's a little thing, and people are like, "You're stupid," but whatever.
No, you're not. You like what you like. It's the only thing that's kept me from watching Clone Wars is I don't want to watch a bunch of animated, and I love animated stuff. I just don't want to see it, and that's
See, and I think if they had done it all in 2D, I would have been fine. I would have probably watched every one of them, and it had probably all been up on my shelf over here.
Yeah, I was excited to completely not Star Wars related, but I have Paramount Plus, and they have everything at Star Trek is on there, including the animated series from the 70s. And I want to go watch that. It was so good. I remember that.
I love that series.
I was like, oh shit, that's on there. So I'm about to start that.
That's cool.
Yeah. My take, I like it. I think it's a really good movie. I do recommend you watch it. You can just go ahead and watch everyone and skip 8. And you guess what? You're really not going to miss a fucking thing.
No, you're really not.
So, thank you for joining us on our 100th episode. I'm still in shock that you and I have done something. I'm in shock that we have done something 100 times.
100 times.
In a row. Almost weekly. So.
Yeah, this is, we got some stick-to-itiveness, brother.
We do. So join us next week when we get away from sci-fi, because honestly, as much as I love sci-fi, it is my go-to genre. I'm done. I don't want to see space for at least a week.
Yeah. At least.
We're going to visit the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest, starring Cary Grant and I forget who else. I have never seen this.
Who else is in it? It's Cary Grant.
I watched the trailer. It looks really great. It looks good. It's a great setup. I know there's going to be a lot of double crossing and twist and shit in it. So look forward to it. So join us as we hit the classics again and loosen things up and work our way into some other obscure or not so obscure stuff.
Just maybe a really bad movie here and there coming your way.
Yes, absolutely. So thanks again, and we will catch you next week. And this is the last time I say this for a while. May the Force be with you.